Thank you, and you may be seated. We're here to dedicate the new Har-Ber Mechanical Lab here at Har-Ber High School, but we're also here to rededicate ourselves to our commitment to the future of America. That's our students and their learning. I'm honored as principal to work with the best administrative leaders a person could ask to work with, as well as instructional leaders, teachers, other staff members, parents, and students. I believe we have the best in America. The educator I introduced to you now had the original vision for our mechanical lab. He showed the leadership, the patience, and the perseverance to build partnerships so that this new educational space has come to fruition from his vision. Please welcome to the podium Mr. Stowe Hoffius.
Thank you, Dr. Brackett. It is my honor and privilege to recognize our community partners today. Without their partnership, the new Har-Ber Mechanical Lab would not be possible. I'm going to recognize them. I'm going to ask them to stand. I'll ask you to please hold your applause until I've recognized all of those individuals and their companies. Kimball Mechanical, Flintco, Multicraft Contractors, Northwest Arkansas Community College, Backus Concrete, Mars Electric, Allstate Electric, the Bruce Rogers Company, Ream, Metal Central, Wind Supply, Wittenberg, Deloney, and Davidson Architects, and a special thank you to Dr. Marshall Jones and the U.S. Department of Education Race to the Top initiative, which was a huge contributor in this project. Please join me in applause and congratulating these people for their help. I would like to welcome the Springdale School District Career and Technical Coordinator, Mr. Joe Rollins.
To make this mechanical lab happen, the number of partnerships that came to the table were absolutely huge. But before I let him get away, I need to make sure publicly that I thank Mr. Hoffius for his vision and for his leadership in this project. Mr. Hoffius, truly, thank you for all that you've done to make today happen. Partnerships come in all forms and fashions. We have partnerships both in the district, within the state, and around our nation. I want to make sure that we acknowledge the leaders and the partners who've also helped make this happen. Starting with Dr. Rollins, our district team of leaders, and if you will, please stand as I call your names. Certainly our district leadership team and our school board. I know we have members here. Special thanks to our district maintenance team. Thanks to our mayor, to our Chamber of Commerce, to members of our Northwest Co-op, members of our Department of Education, members of our State Career and Technical Education Association, members of our AAEA, the Arkansas Construction Education Foundation, Ms. Ann Tucker and the Department of Construction Trades at the Career and Education Department, Northwest Arkansas Community College Workforce and Economic Development Program coordinators, and certainly members of the Northwest Council. These partnerships have come to the table in a major way to help this project happen, and I want to make sure we thank them as well.
Okay, good morning. My name is Patrick Scott, assistant principal here at Har-Ber and principal of the Acme House, Architecture, Construction, Manufacturing, and Engineering. It's really with great excitement that I stand here to be a part of something that will benefit so many young people and so many lives. Again, I want to echo the welcome of all of our community partners, members of the Springdale School District Administration, our school board members, distinguished guests, and a special welcome to the most important people in here, our students. Students, it's not just the opportunities in life that help shape you into a success story. Opportunities will not do you any good unless you recognize them and take full advantage of them. Every adult in this room can point to an opportunity that came along and led them to where they are today. They can also point to chances that they took that may not have worked out, but still was a lifelong lesson and helped guide them to where they are. The new mechanical lab at Har-Ber High School is an opportunity that all of you could benefit from. And some of you, hopefully, later in life, will point back, reflect back and say, this opportunity that I had at Har-Ber High School is what shaped me and led me to where I'm at. I'm going to get a chance to visit with the students later and in more detail, and you're even going to get to listen to a few of our current students as they talk about some really exciting technology and the innovative ways that they're putting it to use. Before that, though, I'm honored to introduce the first of our keynote speakers. This distinguished gentleman is a retired colonel of the Arkansas Army National Guard. He spent 12 years as the mayor of the city of Rogers. He is currently in his fourth term as the representative of the 3rd Congressional District for the state of Arkansas. Please help me welcome Congressman Steve Womack.
Thank you. It's great to be at Har-Ber, and thanks for the invitation, and congratulations on the dedication of the mechanical lab. Look, I want to direct my my remarks to the young people in this audience. I know we've got stakeholders here and community partners that have played an integral role in the reason why we're here today, but look, I circulate through my district regularly. And when I do, I make a point to visit my job creators. I consider myself a jobs and growth type member of Congress, somebody that is looking for opportunities to increase the opportunities that we have for our young people, because very soon we're going to be passing the baton of leadership over to your generation. And I want to make sure that your generation is prepared to accept that baton. When I circulate among my job creators and I ask the question, what is your biggest challenge? Without hesitation, my job creators tell me it's the skills gap that we have in our country. That we have jobs, good paying jobs available, but for the fact that we have a hard time meeting that gap of skills. And that's why dedicating the lab that we're going to dedicate today, and the work that's going on in the School of Innovation, and the other extraordinary measures that leadership schools like the Springdale Public Schools are doing to help deliver its students further into the 21st century. Everywhere I go, I have people tell me they need people with skills. And the very best way to deliver into that pipeline these individuals is to begin to train them here and now. I would even argue at a bit earlier of an age, but we can hold that for a discussion later. So my message to you students is simply this. Unlike it was years ago, when the thought was the only pathway to a successful career was only going to be met with a 4-year degree, and oh, by the way, a lot of student debt, that today the situation is much different. There are opportunities for people seated in this room that do not necessarily require higher education instruction. It is my strong belief that our country made a terrible mistake years ago when we duped an entire generation to think that their only pathway to success was to go to college. Not that college is a bad thing. College is a very important thing. But there are more and more skills that are being developed in the private sector today that do not require that type of education. Instead, they require skills. So to all of you young kids here today, I want you to think very carefully. And I can give you 3 really good reasons why this mechanical lab can be a springboard to you in a successful future. Number 1, just look at the amount of student debt that is owed today. I consider it to be the next bubble that will pop and have an impact on our economy. Just survey the private sector today and the jobs available and analyze what the earnings potential is for those jobs. Incredibly high-paying jobs. Some of these with the proper training right out of high school. And then thirdly, and maybe most important, is the fact that these jobs are available now. So I want to congratulate Springdale for leading. But I shouldn't be surprised. The Springdale Public Schools, under the steady hand of Jim Rollins, has always been a leader. And I add my friend Marcia Jones to that mix too. I've spent a lot of time with her discussing a lot of the educational initiatives that kind of set Springdale apart. Congratulations to you for a truly remarkable event today. And then lastly, I want to speak right to the stakeholders for just a minute. And when those of you stood, Rick Barrows and others, I know you personally. It is not acceptable just to have certain types of equipment in these labs. My challenge to you is to make sure the type of equipment, the type of devices, the technology that is going into these labs are precisely and exactly the type of equipment that these young people will see when they show up on day 1 of their job with your company. Too often we give them first and second generation equipment. It's highly important, in my judgment, to make sure that what they see here in the classroom is exactly what they're going to see on the floor when they report for duty. I am honored and privileged to serve as a member of Congress, and I think my friend Senator Bozeman would say the same thing, and that is that we don't do this job for any other reason except to make this country better. And if we're truly going to make our country better, then we've got to provide the opportunities and the earnings potential for each of you to be able to go out and command a really good paying job, to be able to afford a mortgage and the car payment, and the ability to raise your kids in a really, really nice area of the world, and never have to worry about having to leave this place for some of those opportunities. So congratulations on behalf of a grateful congressman. I look forward to the tour, and I'm deeply appreciative to the invitation to be able to be part of this momentous occasion today. Thank you very much.
This is a great day in the life of the Springdale School District. Ours is a district that is totally committed students to serving each of you. I had an opportunity as you arrived this morning to visit with a number of you, and we talked about today's event. And so I asked the question, what are you thinking about in terms of your career choice? And I heard electrical and plumbing and carpentry. And one young man said, I'm still thinking about that. And in a program like this, I'll have a chance to experience all of the trades. And he was so very, very accurate. If you have a program, and many of you do, I want to share this quote because I think you will, like me, believe that it speaks to the heart of what we're about here today. We're not building a future for a few years. We're building a future for a lifetime. Students in this school district, it's all about each of you. And we're very, very proud of every student in the auditorium today and the 23,000 kids that we have an opportunity, really a privilege, to work with. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with your applause, help me thank these kids for the great young people they are. As your superintendent, I like to read. I like to collaborate with caring and committed educators really from across the district, around our state, and across our nation. There's a quote that I use quite a bit. It's from an author named Alfie Cohen. And he characterizes so much of our work with this quote: thumbnails blue from having missed the head of the nail. Thumbnails blue from having missed the head of the nail. How do we learn? Application, 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 and that goes on and on. And Stowe and I were visiting earlier about, and you can begin to help us quantify this, the thousands and thousands and thousands of young people who will have additional experiences as a result of the work of this community and this partnership. The great leadership of Mr. Hoffius, the great leadership of Dr. Brackett and the team here, and then all of the partners that came together. I would tell you, students, that our school district is based on partnerships. When business leaders and educators sit at the table together and dream about what can be, great projects like this one come forward. And those who are the beneficiaries of that collaborative, that partnership work, are students just like yourself. And that's been true over time. And it is so great and heartwarming to see that partnership extended. And again, community leaders, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for helping us really paint a picture, paint a canvas, if you will, that represents greatness in terms of these young people. Students, let's be very clear. The experiences that you will have in the Har-Ber Mechanical Lab are experiences that you will take to the workplace. Yes, you'll learn the skills, you'll learn more about your trade. We all understand that learning's lifelong, so you'll have a great launch, a great beginning. And from that, you will position yourself so that when you go into the workplace, you can say to potential employers, these are skills that I have. These are experiences that I have. And you understand that that employer will look at you as someone who can make a real contribution to helping their business be successful. You will have a great step up as a result of this experience. And again, the people who've worked together to help make that possible could not be more proud, could not be more elated that they've made their financial contribution, that they've made their personal contribution, and that they will continue to. And my hope is that our business leaders will feel comfortable to come alongside, to come right into the lab, and to share what's real and what's relevant, as the congressman said, so that you'll be better positioned to do the real work when you're ready. And doing work that you enjoy, that is so very critical. Just one other quote that I'll leave you with. What the world cares about is what you can do with your learning. So think through that application piece, think through the skill set, make sure that every opportunity you have, you make the most of it, so you'll become more and more and more proficient. Ladies and gentlemen, on the stage with us today are two congressional leaders. But I want to tell you from the heart, these are national leaders representing our region, our state at the national level. But they, just like the business leaders sitting in front of us, are partners at the highest order. Please thank them for their great contribution. Senator, come and join us.
Dr. Rollins, we'd like to thank you. It's with your vision and leadership that this school district has become a leader in the state and a model for the nation. Let's give Dr. Rollins another hand. We are very fortunate and honored to welcome our next keynote speaker. He actually preceded Congressman Womack as our representative of the 3rd Congressional District from 2001 to 2011. In 2011, he took the oath of office to become a United States Senator for our great state. He is currently the ranking Republican on the Senate Agricultural Subcommittee on Conservation, Forestry, and Natural Resources, the Commerce Subcommittee on Science and Space, and the Environment and Public Works Subcommittee on Green Jobs and the New Economy. Please help me welcome Senator John Bozeman.
Thank you all so much. It really is an honor to be with you today. I've really looked forward to this, and part of it is that I'm here with one of my old buddies, Stowe Hoffius. Stowe and I grew up together in Fort Smith. We were Grizzlies, and back then we used to beat you all regularly and everything, which was good. But if it were the old days, Stowe and I was telling him we'd be back on the back row back there with our buddies, being glad that we were out of class. So you can look at us. If we can make it, anybody can make it. And so, again, we really do appreciate it. I'm so proud of him and what he's accomplished, not only here in this entity, but throughout his career. He's done a tremendous job and truly is a very, very dear friend. I really kind of get worn out coming to Springdale and patting you all on the back. You do such a tremendous job, either here honoring you in various different ways, or it seems like every time we're honoring a principal of the year or whatever in Washington, they're from this school district. So congratulations again to just being on the cutting edge in so many different ways. You know, as I go around the state, and I'm around the state as much as anybody, people ask me, you know, what are people talking about? And the name of the game is jobs, jobs, jobs. Steve and I could talk about Iran, we could talk about Iraq, we could talk about Syria, we could talk about health care, lots of different things. I tell you, if you don't have a job, if you can't support your family, if you don't make a living wage, everything else is pretty unimportant. And so that's really what this is all about, is giving you the tools, you know, for just having lots of tools in the toolbox in the sense of what you want to do in the future. How are you going to contribute? What's going to be your niche in society? But it is good, you know, as you go into different programs, and in Springdale, you can be anything you want to be. You buckle down, you're going to get the education that you need. But certainly this path is a tremendous path and is so very needed. I also want to congratulate Springdale for always being on the cutting edge, for the partners that are here. Again, in going around the state, asking people what's working, you know, how do we get this done? How do we get the skills that young people need to be successful? Public-private partnerships are the answer. I would really encourage school board members, in fact, faculty, you partners need to get them into your places of business so they can understand the skill set that's required. So many people my age or younger, whatever, haven't been in a factory, haven't been in situations with the skills that we're talking about in all kinds of different settings. They simply don't understand the expertise that it takes to run, fix, modify, make the equipment that we use these days. So we thank you. The problem is, you can be up to date in the school system and spend lots of money. 2 years later, things can be out of date. So it's so important that you're here now and so important that you're with us in the future. Springdale, as I said, has done a tremendous job in being on the cutting edge. Change is hard. And as you start putting new programs in, regardless of what's it in, there's always a little pushback here and there. But like I say, you all have done a tremendous job. My dad, when I was growing up, was a master sergeant in the Air Force. And so we lived in Fort Smith, and he fixed it where he could live there for several years so I didn't have to travel. But he was a recruiter, and he knew where the best schools were throughout this whole region of the country. And the reason he did was they would give the Air Force equivalency test. And you had schools that the leading kid in the class could not pass the Air Force equivalency test. But he always talked, I can remember as a little kid, him talking about the programs in Springdale. The fact that the average kid, the kid with a degree, that came through this program, could pass the Air Force equivalency, test without any problem. Which again is just a measure. Dr. Rollins has built on that. You all have built on it. It's not just him, it's all of you all. Just making it such that we have a system that I think is as good as anywhere. So congratulations on that. Tonight I'm going to give a little talk to a group about service. And to be honest, I really don't care what you do. You need to do something, as Dr. Rollins pointed out, that you want to do, something that you're content in doing. And as I said, in Springdale, you're going to have all kinds of tools. You're going to get the background where you can pretty much do whatever you want to do, and that's great. What I would say to you, though, is that, as Coach Broyles used to say, there's two kinds of people. There's givers and there's takers. And as you get situated in your profession, be a giver. I used to think, when I was coming through, and I was a kid that really wanted to be helpful in things, that, you had to be really smart. And I thought, well, gosh, if I was really smart, then I could help people. I was okay smart. I wasn't really smart. I certainly wasn't Einstein. And then I thought, well, if I was really good in athletics, then I could be somebody that could be of help. And I was okay in athletics. I was blessed. I got a scholarship to the University of Arkansas, but I was just a journeyman guy. I certainly wasn't an All-American or anything like that. And then you think, well, gosh, if I could just get out and make a lot of money, then I'd be in a position to be helpful. But when I started thinking about it, the people that had made such an impact in my life, they weren't rich, they weren't famous, they were friends, they were families, family members, pastors, coaches, people like you all in the business community that are taking an active interest in young people. Those were the people that really made a big difference in my life. So you all are in a situation now, like I say, you can do that as we speak. People like Stowe, again, my buddies, certainly made a tremendous impact as I was growing up. So I would encourage you, like I say, you're blessed, you're in an excellent system because everybody's working so very hard. You all are working hard to get where you want to go. But as you get there, starting right now, be a giver, don't be a taker. And we will continue to make the community, make the area, Northwest Arkansas, what it is today. Thank you very much.
I see so many faces of people that we are so appreciative of for the work that you have done to make this possible. We are excited that some of our students are here today and some of our future students are here today. In a few moments, we're going to begin a tour, and I'll put my principal's face on, and I'll need everybody to move it as we need to move quickly because we're going to get everybody that wants to through a quick tour. We will start with our special guest. I just want to take a moment, though, to brag on our students. In 12 short years, Har-Ber High School has become nationally known, statewide respected. And it's because of students and parents and staff who have accepted the call to reach excellence. You're going to see some of that today, whether it's in athletics, where we currently have the 5th nationally ranked soccer team, whether it be in fine arts, where we have one of the most outstanding fine arts programs in choral and instrumental music, whether it be in our forensics and debate program, where we have a national, a state runner-up and state champion. We sent 2 teams to the mock trial championships. And they're preparing for the nationals. Whether it be our VEX robotics program, who's currently at Worlds, and they should be having their first match today at 11 o'clock. Whether it be our students who lead the mathematic competitions at the University of Arkansas every year. I could go on and on and on and brag on our students. What I want to share with you today is you're going to see opportunities that were spoken of in this tour. You're going to see advanced mathematics. You're going to see advanced sciences in the physics realm. You're going to see pre-engineering and engineering conversations. And it is all because of our partnerships and the vision that this district has set forth. I'm honored to be the principal at Har-Ber High School. At this time, the tours are going to go this way. All of our special guests are invited on the first round. There'll be about 5 minutes segments in between, and the tours are 10 minutes long. Our students, Har-Ber students, are going in a moment after our guests exit this door. Those who want to go on the tour, you're going to exit this door, take a right, and come back in the building, and then we'll begin the tour just down the hall. So if you would do that at this time and everyone else remains seated, I would appreciate it. See, students, how good they're doing? Thank you, Mr. Rogers. You lead the way.